welcome to Getting Into Raw Cooking with Zane. Today we're going to make an absolutely delicious dish. This is a savoury one and really great for a quick and easy winter meal because you can have it warm, or a summer meal because you can have it cool. We're going to make a pumpkin soup with leek and a pine nut cream with thyme. Absolutely delicious. Such a simple recipe as usual. Take the blender of your Optimum 9900, 9400 or 9200 and use the jug to place in 1 cup of pine nuts. These pine nuts have been soaked for a few hours so they're nice and soft, and let me tell you, they taste great when they're soaked like that. Pop them straight into the blender jug with a little bit of water. We've got about 1/4 cup of filtered water here. We're going to pop a pinch of Celtic sea salt straight in there. A couple of extra pinches, I really quite like that salty taste. And people get really worried about using salt, but it's actually great, the Celtic sea salt. Table salt, on the other hand, not so good, but it has anti-caking agents, which are often carcinogens. But the Celtic sea salt has the same chemical structure as embryonic fluid, so it's an excellent salt for you to be using. I popped in a little dash of white pepper in there. Oops, put the lid on safely. We're going to put in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So as I've mentioned in previous videos, just roll the lemon, and 1 full lemon is about 2 tablespoons. So just squeeze that out straight into your jug. It's the lemon that makes the nut cheeses taste so good and so cheesy in the end, but make sure you don't get the bits of pulp in there, just the juice. So squeezing that one all the way out, and that is it. We're going to pop that straight onto the blender. Put the lid on securely in place. We may or may not need to use the tamper, so I've got it on hand and I've got the lid plug in place today. We're going to turn it on low, flick it on. So you'll see the Optimum 9900 is such a powerful blender that I didn't even need to turn it all the way up onto high. Be really aware of that with your Optimum blenders. Only use the amount of power that you need to get blending. If you turn the blender up too high, you might get a bubble underneath the food, and that will stop the food mixing correctly. So I turned it up probably to about 7 or 8. I couldn't see from over here, but I didn't turn it up all of the way, and I blended it until it was nice and smooth. I'm going to give it a quick taste. That will be our Pine Nut Cheeze. It's really, really, really good. Popping that one aside to use as a topping in just a minute. And we're going to go ahead and use a separate jug. You can wash yours if you only have one, but it's always good to have 2 on hand. If you want to get a second jug, or if you want to order your Optimum 9900 blender, just go down below to the details section and you'll be able to click through to the local Fruity site to you. So we have one in AU, in NZ, and in the UK now. So, next recipe, easy as. Popping in 3 cups, 750 mils approximately, of freshly squeezed carrot juice. So I just pop that through my juicer. Then I'm going to pop in about 3/4 cup, this is probably a little bit extra, whoopsie, of, oh look, let's put it all in, shall we, of pumpkin there. Now you can use butternut pumpkin. The original recipe uses butternut pumpkin, but I actually prefer the sweet flavour of Jap pumpkin, or the correct name now is Kent pumpkin. So I've popped that in there. About 1/4 cup of leeks to pop straight in. If you like, you can dehydrate the leeks for a couple of hours before you use them, and that gives them an even stronger and richer flavour. I'm going to pop a pinch of the Celtic sea salt in. This time we're going to use the black pepper, and because the blender is so powerful, all we need to do is pop in a couple of the actual peppercorns. The last thing that I'm going to pop in here is some allspice. So sometimes in the US it's called pumpkin pie spice, but we call it allspice here in Australia. We don't need too much. I'm just going to pop in 2 little allspice kernels. Look at those tiny little ones. Or you could use about 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon in there. Pop it all in. I'm going to pop in about 1 teaspoon of fresh thyme. We'll save this one for decorating the bowl a little bit later. And that's all we need to do. We're going to use the avocado in just a second. First things first, lid on and blend until smooth. Now this time I will turn it all the way up to high, and I'll probably blend for about 3 or 4 minutes because this soup is going to come out nice and warm for us. All right. Okay, lid plug in place, and this time we'll get blending. 3 to 5 minutes max. You'll feel after a couple of minutes in a high-speed blender like this one that the temperature of the ingredients go up. It goes up about 10 degrees per minute. So blending for about 3 to 5 minutes at maximum will still ensure that the food is warm but counted as raw, because you're not going over that 40 to 46 degrees C that we want to stay under. So that's all blended. We're just going to quickly throw in 3/4 of an avocado to finish off. It doesn't need blending all the way. So I've cut the avocado in half. You can remove the seed by carefully putting your knife in there and removing it, tossing that carefully away. Remember that you can't put avocado skins or avocado seeds in your compost if you have chickens, because avocado is toxic to chickens. Little fact for you. Use the back of your spoon to remove the avocado out. It'll stop the soup being so frothy by putting that fat in there. And so far, tastes great. I'm going to pop in just a little bit more pepper, a little bit more Celtic sea salt, and just a tiny bit more of the allspice to give it a little bit more flavour. So you can adjust the recipe ingredients to suit your taste. Popping the lid on, blend again for about 60 seconds and we're all done. Actually, that wasn't even 60 seconds, maybe 20. You can see that it's nice and warm. It's often steam coming off the top. We're going to pour it into a big soup bowl. You can see a little bit of the steam there. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but I can see it. We're going to finish it off with, oh, don't let us forget our pine nut cream. We'll take a nice big dollop of that on the top of our soup. There we go. Maybe 2 dollops. Delicious. Some for me too. And a little bit of thyme, and you can serve it up. Delicious, easy, quick soup, warm in winter, cool in summer. Very, very tasty and very, very good for you. Lots of colourful nutrients in there and a little bit of fat so that you feel satiety for a few hours after you've eaten your meal. Ciao for now.